Give your pain a voice.
First off, I'm very humbled to be up here talking to you all today. I was not always this strong guy you see. I went through a lot of hard times in my life to get here today. And I decided to make a change in my life.
God put me in hellish situations to figure out how in the world am I going to overcome these situations. Through battling myself, battling my own insecurities, battling my own fears, self-doubts, and all this baggage we all carry, I built this indestructible toolbox.
I was trying to reinvent my mind, and I used every single tactic possible to do that. I didn't want to live in this world where I was a fake human being anymore. And I was tired of blaming everybody for where I was at.
I became a master of the mind because my mind was so weak. What we fear the most, we like to run away from. I took the exact opposite approach to life. And everything I did in life, I wasn't really comfortable doing, but that's how I mastered myself. We all have a story.
You can't live with hate. You cannot move forward. You gotta find out the origin of where all this shit began. I could not hold on to that hate, because holding on to that hate was half the reason why I kept falling into the same pattern of failing.
Whenever something gets hard, whenever something gets difficult in life, we're not winning the war against ourselves. What you have to do to get that strength back, I always turn negatives into positives.
You have to be open-minded to the possibilities that I can do this. Once you shut your mind down to the possibility that it can be achieved, there's no way it can happen. So don't let these motherfuckers tell you how you're supposed to feel. But you have to have the will, the heart, the courage to go that distance when you have nothing left to give and give more. If you know how you get that fight or flight response when you get to move real quick, and I started learning the mind a lot, how to get myself jacked, like in a horrible environment when everybody's miserable. I learned how to really find strength in the misery. I started using all that misery for tons of drive and motivation, because you can get a lot of power through misery. You have to take great pleasure in the fact that no one wants to be where the fuck you're at right now. I had to figure out the origin of where I started from. Now I was going back through my life trying to fix who I am, the fucked up person I was. So I had to go back to where, my roots and the origin of all this happened, and it's hard to do that. But I had to make peace with it in myself. I had to start dumping off some baggage. Cut out the bullshit. Cut the bullshit. Just get to the weeds of that. You are fucking yourself up by not examining your brain. You're not examining your brain. Message it. That's done. You examine your fucking brain, and that takes some hard work and suffering. You gotta get out there and be like, oh, this hurts. This hurts real fucking bad. I don't think this is smart. And then, guess what happens? The body will adjust. It will adjust. Start to learn the mind is powerful. It's powerful, man. It's unbelievable. I know that human potential is what we have. It's all we have. The world sees us a certain way. I put people on a pedestal. Like I can never be them. I can never be that guy, man. Never put anybody on a pedestal. It's just, I'm different. And that's something I figured out. I'm different from everybody in the fucking world. And I had to own that. And say, you know what, man, you made a lot of fucking mistakes being who you are. I think differently. I believe differently. And I believe strongly in what I believe in.
Your mind is so powerful. We are only at 40% of what we are capable of. I should quit, but I didn't. What I started doing was I started to study myself in the dark times. The 40% rule is we have a governor on our brains, like a governor on a car. A car may say 130, but if you put a governor on a car, it can only go 101. We do the same thing to our brains. I was born with limited horizons. I didn't think I could be anybody. My governor was myself. So once you take that governor off, you have limitless horizons. When you push yourself to that level and accomplish something you thought was impossible, what happens to your body and mind is something I can't really even explain.
And a lot of times you have to learn to perform without motivation. You have to learn to perform without purpose. You have to learn to perform a lot of different things. And that's what people think. They think I need to have this motivation to work out, to study, to be better. So if they don't have it, they just don't fucking do it. And that's where you fail. You have to learn to train your mind well beyond motivation. You have to learn to exist without it. You have to learn to be, you have to be your best self when you're least motivated. And that's the tricky part about all that shit. Motivation is just a word. You have to have these different things in your mind on where you want to go and know that motivation is not going to get me there. Because I'm not going to always be motivated. I thought I got the top of Mount Everest, and Mount Everest just fucking slide right underneath me, man. I was like, God, dog, I gotta start from scratch again. Scratch became my friend. Because I'm a shy, introverted, leave me alone type of guy. Like, I'm still that motherfucker. So every day I'm fighting that. Your upbringing, your mom and dad, your society, the way you were raised, we all have a story. We all have a jacked up life in one way or another. I look at it as psychological warfare. And that's where I started learning that life is one big psychological warfare that you play on yourself. The most important conversation I ever had is with myself. And the shit I was telling myself was so fucked up, it was so wrong, it was so misguided. And it starts to be what you say to yourself every single day. You have these tools. Your life was basically the perfect grounds for training for where you need to go in your life. It was the absolute perfect training ground for you to go to where you need to go. You were training. For the first 18, 19, 20, you were training for this stuff, man. You have the advantage of everybody else versus, my God, they're so above me. They came from a great family. Mom and dad love them. They didn't stutter, they didn't struggle. No, man, your struggle is what made you who you are now. So I started flipping this into a whole different, I started being a master of what I was scared of. I was scared of my mind. And I became literally a master of that mind. I used to look at my life from a different vantage point. And when you're in all the muck and you're just walking in muck and walking in muck and walking in muck, you don't see that if you look off to the fucking left of the muck, there's a sidewalk, brother. Once I saw the sidewalk, got the sidewalk, I got a little break. And I got a different vantage point. And then from the sidewalk, I found a cliff. Then I found a mountain. I got way up high on top of my life and looked back down on it and said, okay, I gotta figure this out, man. I'm not going anywhere. I'm starting to lie. So when you have a messed up foundation, I started lying about everything. I wanted people to like me. I wanted to be accepted in some society of life, some social society. And I was like, man, this isn't the right way. I'm messed up here, I'm messed up here, I'm messed up everywhere. And so I realized the worst thing that happened to me is I lost myself. I never had myself, I never found myself. I had no self-esteem. I started finding self-esteem. Once I found that, that's when doors started opening up. I stopped caring about people, that what they thought, being judged. Wow, if I say this, if I started right now, are you gonna make fun of me? I stopped caring about that. And that's when my life started really changing for me, slowly but surely. I saw working out as a way for me to build calluses on my mind. I had to callus over the victim's mentality. I always equated training to mental toughening. Like, it always looked brutal. People waking up early and doing all these things, and it looked horrible. I was like, wow, man, I gotta start doing that. Not to get better, bigger, and stronger, but that is what's gonna build me. That looks uncomfortable. That looks brutal. And getting up early, I don't wanna do that. So I made this long list of things I don't wanna do. And through that, I found myself. I struggled my whole life, but I ran from it. So I started realizing, man, I gotta start facing the struggle, and I gotta be mentally strong for the struggle. I'm training for life. Mentally, I'm training for life. Through discipline, through self-discipline, through repetition, through tons of repetition of the same thing that you don't want to do, through repetition of things you don't want to do, you develop armor for your mind. You start to armor your mind. Your mind's like, okay, we suffer every day. That's what we do. We do stuff that sucks every day. So then when the suck stuff comes, you're ready for it. And that's how I started coming up. You know, I just started being very uncomfortable. Now it's like just a way of life. My whole life, there's been this unrelenting voice in my head. We all have this voice. It's the right or wrong voice. And a lot of times that voice guides us into comfort. And my voice guided me into comfort a lot. But I had this other voice I heard my whole life say, hey, motherfucker, what are you doing? Nah, man, we gotta go over here where nobody's at. That's where victory's at. We're over there in that corner. This voice was giving me all these answers. It's saying, over there is where the fucking answers are. And I wouldn't listen to it because over there was pain. Over there was me looking in the mirror. Over there was me being accountable for all these things that went through my life. Even though people put them on me, it's now mine to own. And I didn't want to go over there by myself, but I had to. And this voice was guiding me there. This is not where you're supposed to be in life, man.
The most important conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. You wake up with it, you walk around with it, you go to bed with it. Eventually you act on it, whether it be good or bad. The mind's a medieval motherfucker. It's constantly fighting against you. It's the only thing in the history of the fucking world that shows up on time, every time. It has a tactical advantage over you. It knows your fears, it knows your insecurities, it knows everything about you. It might be the only thing in that world that knows all about you. You gotta know about it. It's gonna show up when you don't wanna show up. It's gonna show up at the worst time possible when you wanna be successful. It's gonna say, take the easy way. Take the easy way out. You gotta learn your brain like your brain has learned you. There's so many times in life you don't wanna be doing what the fuck you're doing. You can't just fucking quit. So when you say to yourself it's important, there's no fucking coach, there's no trainer to keep you going. It's only you. You're never done. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. Stay hard. The more you walk away from accountability, the weaker you become. Find yourself in the grip of life. You can't find yourself by doing nothing. Nothing.